All right, so today we're going to deep dive into prepping for a Canvas goods assembler interview.
Yeah, getting you ready to really impress and land that job.
Right, you'll be so ready, you'll think you can sew a masterpiece blindfolded.
Exactly.
And we've got 3 sources to help us out with this.
Okay.
A career guide, an interview guide, and some info on RoleCatcher.
A tool that can really help boost your interview game.
Exactly.
It's all about really getting a grasp on what the role is, the types of questions you might get asked,
Yeah.
and how to present yourself and your skills in the absolute best light.
Exactly. Speaking of understanding the role, what does a Canvas goods assembler actually do?
Right.
I mean, it's more than just like tents and bags, right?
Absolutely. Much more than that. Think about it. Canvas and leather are everywhere.
Yeah.
From things like backpacks to boat sails to canvases for artists and even custom upholstery, the possibilities are endless.
Yeah, that's true.
It's a really versatile field.
Our career guide actually mentions this job can take you to all sorts of places, from small workshops to large manufacturing facilities.
Yeah.
You could even work from home.
That's right. And no matter where you're working, precision and attention to detail are absolutely key.
Right.
Every single stitch, every cut, all of it contributes to the overall quality and durability of whatever you're making.
Yeah, it sounds like a really nice blend of creativity and technical skill.
It really is.
Which brings us to the interview itself.
Okay.
Our interview guide gives us 9 sample questions. And let's be real, some of them can be a little intimidating.
Yeah, for sure.
Let's break them down one by one.
Sounds good.
The first one's all about your experience with industrial sewing machines. How familiar are you with using industrial sewing machines?
Yeah, that's a common one.
It is, and I think this is where honesty is key.
Definitely.
But what if you've never actually used an industrial sewing machine?
Good question. In that case, I would focus on transferable skills.
Right.
Have you used other types of sewing machines before?
Mm-hmm.
Are you comfortable learning how to use new equipment quickly? Express your enthusiasm for learning and mastering this part of the job.
So instead of saying, I've never even touched one, you could say something like, I'm really eager to learn and I'm a quick learner.
Exactly.
I like that.
Yeah.
Okay, question number 2. How do you ensure the quality of the finished product?
This is your chance to really shine as a meticulous craftsperson.
Oh, yeah.
Think about your process when you're working. Do you double-check measurements? Do you carefully inspect the materials before you start working with them? What are some specific steps that you take to make sure that every single detail is absolutely perfect?
It's about showing that you take pride in your work.
Exactly.
I remember once I spent hours meticulously hand-stitching a leather journal cover.
Oh, wow.
And just the feel of that finished product was so satisfying.
Yeah, I bet that sense of accomplishment really speaks volumes.
All right, now question 3. This one tackles the juggling act.
Yeah.
How do you prioritize your tasks when working on multiple projects?
The multitasking question.
Yes, the dreaded multitasking question.
A class.
I'm a big to-do list person,
Mm-hmm.
but even I can get overwhelmed sometimes.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I think the key here is to really demonstrate a systematic approach.
Okay.
Do you prioritize your tasks based on the deadlines?
Right.
Do you break down large projects into smaller, more manageable steps?
Mm-hmm.
Good organization and clear communication are super important here.
Absolutely. And don't be afraid to ask clarifying questions.
Oh my gosh, yes. Never be afraid to ask questions.
Speaking of which, question 4 asks, how do you handle a situation where you don't understand the instructions or you need some clarification?
Right, because that happens to everyone.
It does.
And, asking for clarification is not a weakness.
No.
It's actually a sign of a conscientious worker.
Shows you care.
Exactly. Think of a time when you had to ask for help to avoid making a mistake.
Right.
It shows you're committed to doing things the right way.
Right. It's better to ask a question than to guess and potentially mess something up.
100%.
All right, so moving on to question 5. How do you ensure that you are meeting production targets and deadlines?
Okay, so this one's all about efficiency and time management.
For sure.
Think about your work style. How do you approach tasks? Do you use timers?
Yeah.
Do you like to break down tasks to stay focused?
Hmm.
Share some specific strategies that you use to keep yourself on track.
Maybe you use the Pomodoro technique.
Yeah.
Or maybe you batch similar tasks together.
Right. It's about showing that you're proactive and you're results-oriented.
Exactly. All right, question 6 throws us a bit of a curveball. How do you handle a situation where you discover a defect or a flaw in a finished product.
Oh, yeah, that's a tough one.
It is.
But nobody's perfect and mistakes happen. It's all about how you respond to them.
Okay.
Walk them through your process. What would you do? Would you analyze the flaw, try to identify the cause, and consult with someone who has more experience?
Yeah.
It's really about showcasing your problem-solving skills
Right.
and your commitment to quality control.
You don't want to seem like someone who just ignores problems or tries to hide them.
Exactly. You own the issue and you focus on finding a solution.
Okay, so question 7 gets a little bit more into your passion for the craft. How do you stay up to date with new techniques and technologies in the industry?
Oh, I love this one.
Me too.
This is where you get to really nerd out a bit.
Yes.
You know, maybe you follow industry blogs, or you watch tutorial videos, or you experiment with new materials and tools in your free time.
Yeah.
It's all about showing them that you're dedicated to continuous learning.
Right.
Your industry is always changing, and employers really want someone who's eager to stay ahead of the curve.
And that brings us to question 8, the customer service hurdle. How do you handle a situation where a customer is unhappy with the finished product?
Oh, yeah, this can be a tricky one.
It can.
Empathy is really key here.
Okay.
Imagine that you're the customer. How would you want to be treated?
Well,
Listen attentively to their concerns, validate their feelings, and then offer a solution that actually addresses their needs.
it's about demonstrating that you can be professional and handle those difficult situations with grace.
Exactly.
Okay, final question. How do you ensure that you are working safely in a manufacturing environment?
Safety first, always.
Yes, always.
Share your knowledge of safety protocols, you know?
Right.
Talk about your willingness to wear protective gear and your proactive approach to identifying and reporting any potential hazards.
It's about showing them that you prioritize safety, not just for yourself, but for everyone around you.
Exactly.
Now, before we move on to the next part of our deep dive, I want to mention something that can really give you an edge when it comes to interview prep.
You mean RoleCatcher?
Yes, RoleCatcher.
It's such a great tool.
It really is. One of the things I love about it is the AI-powered feedback that it gives you on your interview answers.
Yeah, it's like having a personal coach right there in your pocket.
It is.
You can practice your answers to all these questions. Get specific suggestions for how to improve and even tailor those answers to the specific company and the job that you're applying for.
That's amazing. It's like having a secret weapon to help you decode the whole interview process.
Exactly.
I love that we'll talk more about RoleCatcher's features in part 2, but for now.
Let's take a moment and reflect on these interview questions, how you would approach them. Think about specific examples from your own experience that you could use to illustrate your skills and your qualities.
Great advice. It's amazing how just talking through those questions makes you feel a little more prepared, don't you think?
I agree completely. There's a lot of power in just saying things out loud and thinking them through. It helps you solidify what you know and what you might need to work on a bit more.
And speaking of brushing up before the break, we talked about RoleCatcher's AI-powered feedback. Can you tell us a little bit more about how that works?
Sure. So imagine you've practiced your answer to one of those typical interview questions, but you're not really sure if it's good or not. You know, RoleCatcher's AI actually analyzes what you said and looks for keywords, clarity, and even tone of voice.
Wow. So it's like having an expert listening in, but without all the pressure of the actual interview.
Exactly. And it goes beyond just giving you general feedback. You can put in the job description for the job you're applying for, and the AI will use that information to give you even better suggestions.
So like if you're applying for a job that really emphasizes being detail-oriented, the AI would help you highlight those skills in your answers.
Precisely. It helps you really make your answers perfect for that specific job.
That's incredible. It's like a secret weapon.
It really is.
All right, let's change gears a bit and take a look at some of the industry trends that were mentioned in our career guide.
Okay.
One of the things it talked about was the growing focus on sustainability.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Consumers are much more environmentally conscious these days.
Right.
And that's impacting pretty much every industry, including this one.
That makes sense. So if you have any experience with sustainable practices, be sure to mention that in your interview.
Absolutely. Things like working with recycled materials or even just knowing about eco-friendly manufacturing processes can really help.
It shows that you're not just skilled, but you're also aware of what's going on in the industry.
Exactly. And another trend that's worth mentioning is the increase in customization.
Oh, yeah. People love things that are unique and made just for them.
Right, and that's creating lots of opportunities for people in this field.
It's amazing how something as traditional as canvas and leatherwork is being shaped by these modern trends.
It really is. So if you have any experience with customizing things like changing patterns, adding details, even working with clients to create unique designs, make sure you bring it up.
Another great way to show off your creative side.
Exactly. And that you're able to keep up with what customers want.
I'm curious, what advice would you give to someone who's thinking about starting a career as a canvas goods assembler?
I think I would tell them to really embrace the combination of tradition and innovation that this field offers.
Yeah.
It has a rich history, but it's also constantly changing.
It's like a craft that's both timeless and cutting edge.
Exactly. And I would also say stay curious, never stop learning, and don't be afraid to try new things.
That's great advice.
That's how you'll succeed in this role and contribute to the craft itself.
Well, as we start to wrap up this part of our deep dive, let's turn our attention back to you, the listener. Let's make sure you're feeling ready to really nail that interview.
Yeah, confident and prepared to show them what you've got.
Exactly. We've covered so much today.
We have from understanding the role itself to tackling those tough interview questions and even looking at some key industry trends.
And we can't forget about RoleCatcher.
Right, such a helpful tool.
Yeah.
It can really be your secret weapon for putting together those amazing answers.
And tailoring them to each specific job.
Exactly. It's all about showcasing your best self in a genuine and confident way.
And remember, preparation is key. It really is.
Take some time to really think about your experiences, the skills that you have, and what makes you unique.
And don't be afraid to jot down some notes or even practice your answers out loud.
That's a great tip.
Yeah. It can really make a difference in how you present yourself.
And one more thing. Don't forget to research the company.
Oh, that's so important.
You want to show them that you're truly interested in what they do.
And that you've thought about how you could contribute to their success.
Exactly. It shows that you've put in the effort to prepare.
And when you're finally sitting in that interview room, just remember to breathe.
Yeah.
Relax and let your passion for the craft shine through.
Because at the end of the day, it's your passion that's going to help you stand out as a candidate.
It's what will make you a valuable member of any team.
Well, that brings us to the end of our deep dive into prepping for that canvas goods assembler interview.
We hope you found it useful and that you're feeling more confident now.
Remember, you have the skills, you've got the passion, and now you have the knowledge.
Go out there and make a fantastic impression.
We're rooting for you.
And don't forget to check out RoleCatcher for all your career development needs.
It's a fantastic resource.
Until next time, happy crafting.